Hello, Havenites. The clip you just saw on screen details exactly what the topic for this next video that I'm sharing with you is all about. The lesson. It's on politics and a clash of two opposing viewpoints, similar to what I've experienced the last couple of years gone by now, and how I had dealt with it then. Politics is defined as a set of activities associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power among people. But in my case, politics is a form of bias and discrimination that I had dealt with, and according to these specific story anecdotes that I'm about to share with you, on how this issue of politics has affected me overall. Please do not take offense to anything I have previously said or any event that was previously voiced about from any part of the video. Viewer discretion is advised. Forget your politics. The Pennsylvania Yankee Theatre Company, or PITCO for short, is the local theater organization used for theater in my hometown. I had first started performing in plays with PITCO in the summer of 2004 with The Wizard of Oz, and also one of my favorite movies as a child that I had used to role play myself whenever I had watched it. I would work off and on performing in shows for PITCO during various summers, depending on the show in question that I was interested in. Though I hardly ever scored a lead or a supporting role in these shows, I had used my creative writing experience from high school and college to help write various characters for myself to perform as, based on whatever the show in question was that I was a part of, in order for me to fit in with that show that I was doing. Examples of past roles that I've created for myself for these particular shows have included an excited caregiver looking out for Cinderella's best interest who cupped his hands to his ear like professional wrestler Hulk Hogan in the summer of 2006, to more recently a nerdy character with hardly any friends who one day meets a convict escaping from jail and later befriends him, only to be ostracized from the town for being the same sex in the summer of 2014. This nerdy character I have later wrote a spin-off play for last summer in 2024 that I titled Unwelcome Friendship, and right now I'm currently writing that play's sequel titled Unwelcome Friendships. Currently. Stay tuned for a sequel eventually from me soon when it's finally finished. Stay tuned. Summer 2014 was, to date, the final live show that I had performed in with PITCO. I was deciding to instead at that time work as a camp counselor after at Rotary Camp Anciano for my first summer then, where I am still proud to be a member of even today. Thank you. It was also during the summer of 2014 that I began to feel the political rumblings start to shake with Pitco as a whole. The people running it currently as president and vice president, named DB and GK, obviously care more for the youth of tomorrow rather than the youth of yesterday, like me. Forget your politics. During the pandemic of 2020, Pitco had given more emphasis on Pitco Youth then, with a play production for the young kids, and so little on a main stage production featuring the veterans of the past, like me. I recall at that time voicing a robotic vacuum cleaner with my voice and not my face shown, named Bobber, in a pre-filmed pandemic show that year titled The Virtual Family that never got much publicity that year from Pitco at the time. Where did the publicity eventually go, you ask? Why, to the youth's productions titled The Super Happy Awesome News and the show that must go online that were also performed for the fucking kids that summer, which were double the shows also that should have also included veterans like me of the past. That's not to mention now that if you currently go online on Pitco's website online and see the current board members listed there, you will see a whole entire row dedicated to just youth members. Now, what the heck does my hometown of Penn Yan even see in the youth of tomorrow over the youth of yesterday, like me? I'm curious. Somebody please either fill me in the comments of this video or send me a private email, to the address listed. Thank you. Talking about this reminds me in the pro wrestling world that I love so much and have since early childhood, how a former pro wrestling company that I had used to watch, named World Championship Wrestling, or WCW for short, had later dissolved into nothingness in late 1999 to early 2001, when an experienced writer had came over from another pro wrestling company to try and make WCW better. This writer, named Vince Russo, like DB from Pitco now, ultimately had a secret agenda. His agenda was to get rid of all the old pro wrestlers that I had grown up watching, guys like Hulk Hogan, Lex Luger, Sting, the Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, dig it, etc., just to name a few. For newer faces at the time like Booker T, Shawn Stasiak, and Goldberg, just to name a few. What Vince Russo was failing to realize, and DB from Pitco now could attest to this too, is that without the veteran stars that we all know and love, like Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, ooh yeah, and Sting, just to name a few, the fans just might ultimately lose interest in the product and turn it off for the competition, as finally had happened when millions had switched channels from WCW on TV to the competition to them at the time and World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE at the time, who ultimately later won the war against WCW by purchasing WCW and then folding it into WWE's ecosystem at the time in early March of 2001. The veteran stars had needed to work together as a team with the newer stars of tomorrow in order to help create a successful, coherent product that all could have enjoyed. That would have been a great strategy for WCW to win against WWE at the time. Sadly, they never even considered it, and that's why WCW is dead and buried forever within the WWE today. Teamwork. That's also the key word here. Teamwork. Teamwork. Something that I am currently not seeing with how Pitco is currently running things these days in my hometown under its current administration. At least not when I'm around, that is. Flash forward to the summer of 2022. This is Pitco's first ever collaboration with the Penn Academy Drama Club, with the summer production that summer titled Something Rotten. I remember auditioning for that play production then. However, would I end up being cast or a part of that show in any way? Fuck no. I could feel the politic bubble beginning to fester as that production's production team was in full force. I should have known that despite offering a joint collaboration with the past, working with the future, that politics behind the scenes would soon butt its ugly head out. In other words, that shit show collaboration between Penn Academy Drama Club and Pitco is nothing more and still nothing more to this day than 90% the current generation of Penn Academy Drama Club, while there's only 10% in the community of people my age in my hometown with Pitco in the past. That's not right. When I didn't get a part on stage for that production in the summer of 2022, I remember immediately emailing one of the production team members in charge of the production then about the possibility of something behind the scenes for me to do. Did I hear back? Fuck no. I was so upset then that I remember crying myself to sleep later that night. I was not having a great summer that year that I am attributing me not getting into the play in 2022 as one reason behind the scenes for a separate argument on a separate issue with a jealous family member at the time, also that summer then, that still bothers me today with how it had abruptly turned out. Flash forward to last summer. This is the summer of 2024. I was actually feeling awesome. Yeah. About wanting to be a part of the second official collaboration between Pitco and the Penn Academy Drama Club for a show. This show was a show that I take near and dear to my heart, even today, that's titled The Prom, about a girl banished from her own prom because she wants to bring her girlfriend to the prom, and the school resents that idea. It's a play based around the idea of bullying and discrimination, and again, this is something that I know a lot, and I mean a lot about, and have a strong history of in my life, as it has happened to me over the years, professionally and personally. I remember practicing the acceptance song, a song that's featured in this show until it is now completely stuck in my head, or I am able to use it for other things, such as camp, more likely, whenever I want to use it to teach a lesson about intolerance. Was the fact that I had memorized the acceptance song for for the prom play in 2024 enough to finally land me a role in the show of my dreams from the summer of 2024? Fuck no. In fact, the part that I had wanted had gone to someone else who has apparently had their moment to shine countless times already and didn't want to give up their spot to someone like me despite what I could have brought to the table then. That, and this particular individual was apparently married to one of the production heads in charge of putting on that show then. So it was apparently a family affair that really stunk like disgusting garbage in my book. Forget your politics. My opinion on that whole scenario. The clown who stole my thunder from the summer of 2024 for the show of my dreams then was actually only cast because the production team had thought that he might have been a good fit, being that he was a man of color, and the production team had wanted to show diversity at the time in their show then, going back to the Black Lives Matter and the George Floyd riots of the pandemic in 2020. Pit Tui. I hate instances like that enough that I now hate some people of color too for treating me harshly at times like this. Face it, that part in the summer of 2024 ought to have been mine, not to some black ninja apparently married to one of the boss people. That wasn't fair, people. Come on. Forget your politics. I don't want to even mention the fact here that the current productions head for Pitco, a pathetic jerk named DG, has now, for the second time in a row now, rejected 2 of the short plays that I have written because he thought that they wouldn't fit in with Pitco's image at the time. Now, what exactly is Pitco's image? Someone please fill me in the comments or privately via email. Thanks. My latest show from last summer that I had written, titled Unwelcome Friendship, at least was a complete show with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Unlike one of the others that won a spot in last fall's in 2024's Playwrights Play Reading Showcase, this was a short scene between 3 different characters that were interacting that contains no story like mine with a beginning, middle, and an end. Period. And a show like that won over mine? Bias. Forget your politics. It's no wonder that I now choose my current camp job each summer at Rotary Camp Ansiawa these days over performing in a play with Pitco in my own hometown. At least there at camp, I don't have to fight for what I want, and my ideas matter on most occasions. And unfair politics and bias and corruption from the current board don't tend to rear its ugly head out. Or so I thought. I began at Rotary Camp Onsiawa in the summer of 2014. After my last live show with Pitco to date, titled All Shook Up, featuring music from Elvis Presley, set in the 1950s, based around Shakespeare's Twelfth Night play, and the play overall where I had came up with my most proud play creation ever in that nerdy character named Eugene in order to fit in with that show then. At first, going to camp was new to me at the time. I had never camped before in a tent outdoors, but I had quickly adjusted over time. Nowadays, and 11 years later, I long for and am most excited for camp season to officially dawn again. I will admit that I have met quite the cast of characters during my now 11 years at Rotary Camp Onsiawa. Thank you. Some I am currently invested in lifelong friendships with, while others I just want to clothesline during a game of Red Rover, Red Rover. Let's start with the obvious elephant in the room, shall we? Why, after now 11 years now, have I not been made a unit leader running my own unit yet at camp? I have plenty of experience now with working with the special needs population at camp, and I'm beginning to understand myself with my own autism diagnosis disability through the kids each summer. Further, the kids that I'm working with at camp are starting to finally see me as a credible authority figure, something that I was told that I was lacking in the past when I was at the Dundee Central School District, and to me today, the worst school ever. And if you want proof of this, you should have seen me this summer during my year number 11 year, this summer at camp in 2025. I had actually managed to remember all of my younger campers that I still enjoy working with at camp's names that I was assigned to. This is something that I was struggling with in years past at camp. And the higher-ups at camp just couldn't give me a chance to lead when I have seen newbies come in over the years, not sure of just what the heck they're doing, and within a matter of days turn into weeks, they are now then running the show in their own units. Forget your politics. And then to now change gears with this new policy of no camper photos on personal Facebook accounts that's just been installed this past summer now in 2025, I say this. Petui. This was not an issue 10 years ago when I had first started in 2014 with Rotary Camp Onsiawa. So why is it now? I guess the camp themselves want to act like a favorite book and movie of mine by Ray Bradbury titled Fahrenheit 451. In that, the firemen are trained to start fires and burn books rather than put them out. Weird. But still, it's censorship. I would never identify any campers directly by name on my personal Facebook, and many of my currently now over 200 friends on there don't even know or seem to care exactly who these kids are, only that I am year by year building up quite an impressive resume for myself of working with kids after graduating from college years ago. Instead, the camp is now asking us to please post any photos that feature campers from camp directly into a closed and private Facebook group. Many of my current Facebook friends cannot join that group. So how can I still fulfill my mission to each of them and showing them still what I do with the kids at camp as evidence that I'm growing in my experience of working with kids if they can't see for themselves from me on my private Facebook page? The camp, most particularly from the summer of 2025, is currently acting like a former group in pro wrestling in the early 2000s that I used to hate and still do hate to this day if I see old clips, called the Right to Censor, or RTC for short. And no one in the pro wrestling world, particularly in the WWE at the time where the group initiated, has seemed to like them. They were the bad guys trying to assert their message that they were always right and always will be right and make a cleaner image for the WWE and pro wrestling at the time, when no one in the audience had wanted that because it was boring. Boring. Bottom line, I still like Rotary Camp Onsiawa, thus I have nothing further bad and irritating to say about them here. Furthermore, I'm sorry now that if my tone of voice seems harsh here with you, if you're watching. It's just that I'm feeling frustrated with how things have been, particularly this past summer now in 2025, that season for me and possibly others as well. I'm sorry. I can get along with the younger kids that I prefer working with and some staff at camp that don't ultimately get on my nerves and piss me off after a while. The camp as a whole are doing me a favor by helping me to pursue one of my dream jobs of working with kids for a career after college each summer that I choose to help when others have now shooed me away. For that, I can't thank Rotary Camp Onsiawa enough for that. Thank you. In conclusion, politics is something that should never be tolerated. Why this happened to me is a mystery yet to be solved. It's so unfair. Forget your politics. all I had wanted was a fair world of intolerance where we all had gotten along with no bias and discrimination whatsoever. This is similar to what another activist and free speaker like myself had also wanted. His name was Charlie Kirk. He had also wanted this same belief, and he believed in it too, just as much as I did, before he was violently assassinated and killed while speaking his mind in September of 2025. As a special treat for making it this far in the video, here is me singing the acceptance song and thus preaching this message of intolerance from the song to you all, in the hope that you'll still continue to believe in it. Enjoy. Flowers accept the rain and grow more beautiful. Babies accept their mother's breast so they can grow strong. I accept that I was born a handsome man. So join with me and sing this acceptance song. Let us accept one another. I know it's truly hard. We're sister and brother. It's what I learned at Juilliard. Bigotry is not big of me, and it's not big of you. Let's all work together to make rainbow dreams come true. Forget your politics. And that's all I have to say about that. So until next time, Havenites, take care. Bye. H names rock. Like, subscribe, and come back for more.